What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to Trading Live with Bubba. And, well, a pretty big turnaround here in the markets. It's been kind of wild. Not a lot of volume, but some action back and forth. Right now, we have nothing to do from a day trading standpoint, but had a number of trades earlier. And NVIDIA had their earnings and they popped initially and now getting clocked a little bit. See NVIDIA, it went right up to resistance. This is what we talk about all the time. Coming off. Zoom had earnings. They're getting creamed as well. Broke down pretty hard is what we expected. But at the end of the day, we'll see. In the meantime, let's watch and see if anything triggers here. From a day trading standpoint, gold was down about 80. Got back on positive. Now it's back down again. Crude oil had a hell of a move. Crude oil has had a 300-point rally or $3 rallies from the lows. Interesting action there. But right now there's not a lot in the day trading sphere. So we'll take a look and see if there's anything to look at. Otherwise, well, we'll start from the bottom this time. So Zoom, certainly I would consider selling some put spreads. I think that, again, that would be something that would be worthwhile. Very oversold, got hammered. So that, as I always tell you, if it moves out of the expected move, I'd be looking to be a buyer. And Zoom, I would do these spreads for next week, March 6th. And let's see what it looks like. 76, 75. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, for 41 cents, I would do that. 76.75 Zoom put spread. Actually, I don't trade, but I'll show it to you. Not really. There would be anything to do it anyways. XBI, nothing really to do. There was a trade potential yesterday. We weren't here, so it doesn't count. Win in the middle of nowhere, not much to do. We talked about it Tuesday, said that it could be close to a buy, but it was not. So, and let's just see if there's anything changing here in our daily routine. Not really. Again, we had a number of trades early, all very good. Had a monster morning on the Trading Live with me at 9:25. Let's go back and see what's going on here. Tesla, still nothing. Again, came down to support. You can see, and again, all these lines are pre-drawn in. They weren't drawn in just to match. These are in for a couple of weeks. So we expected that action. So we'll see. XYZ has earnings today, so there's nothing we're going to do here. SPY, just in the consolidation. Again, it's all you got to remember is in a market that's making double tops and double bottoms, going sideways, there's no real reason to get involved. SMCI, nothing. Just kind of trying. It looks like it's trying to break out a little bit, but nothing going on. The Qs, it reached the top end yesterday, and look at, they're failing. And that's, again, these are the things that we're looking for on a regular basis. QBTS is breaking out. So now, from a trading standpoint, if it comes back to 1950 or so and holds, that would probably be a buy here. Palantir has been on both sides of unchanged, holding the support level, which we established at about 130. Looks like here we're still 130, excuse me, 130 to 145. Not much to do. NVIDIA, again, nothing to do. Earnings were last night. Stock actually popped up to about 203 in the post-market trading before coming back down. Nugget, nothing to do. NNE, nothing to do. Look at that. Knows how it's coming off support. So again, we're always very conscious of where the market is versus the chart, versus the time frame that we're trading. Obviously, here we're looking at 4 minutes on On others, we're looking at dailies, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly. But right now, not much happening from a day trading standpoint. So we'll go back and look here. Netflix had a nice little rally right off the bottom. Look at that. Okay. So now your new support in Netflix is about 80. Pull back to 80 would probably be a buy. You want to see what you want to see is you always want to see the action around that level. We know that 80 is now support. Will that support hold? Okay. MSTR really just sitting around doing nothing. Microsoft, a little bit of a bounce, not a surprise, false breakout. We talked about it on Tuesday as to what should happen. MP, nothing. IWM, obviously in consolidation with not much going on. INOQ's having a nice move today. I mean, this is one I'd look at. If it could rally a little bit farther, I'd look to sell some call spreads. But it is a nice move. So you're seeing some of these lower end AI stocks things pop a little bit. Google, right on support. Look at that. How about that? Okay. So again, the only trades we do here are the ones that are extended 3 standard deviations from the mean. Okay, when we're here. But certainly if you're a regular trader, that's a support level to look at. And if it holds, probably a buy. Meta, same thing. Look at that. Held support. ETHA went to resistance and just churning. Not much to do here. Crowd, we talked about the other day and talked about putting it on. We did not. But again, popping nicely. Maybe breaking out. So we'll see. Coin did break out. New support should be about 175. But from what we're trying to do, there wouldn't be much to do. Let's see here. Anything doing here? No, not really. We're kind of turning over. We didn't get far enough to do anything yet. So again, I don't think we will today. I think we're too far away from that big sell-off that we had earlier because the Nasdaq was down over 500 at one point, which is 2%. But we'll see. Crude needs another quick rush up. I did lose money on crude. Just give you full disclosure. I don't hide from anybody. I did sell it and got stopped out. Amazon, really, we're trading very nicely, but really just range bound, nothing to do. And Apple, trying to break out. Again, I think you want to watch the 270 as support. Look for a potential buy. What you're really noticing is that the longer, they're more or less in a consolidating pattern. So not a lot to do. And if we look at some of the other futures, the dollar, looking to sell it at 98. It did reach there the other day. We did talk about that. The euro, the Australian dollar, there's probably a sale right up here. Euro currency that we're already short, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I think that's probably going to reach down to 117. The notes are rallying a little bit, but not up to our 114 target. Bonds, we're trying to get to 119. So you're really just kind of sitting around, not doing a heck of a lot. Bitcoin rallied right into resistance at almost 70,000 yesterday and is coming back. It looks like we found probably 63,000 to 70,000 right now. So the range is narrowing, indicating a bigger move is coming. Gold, kind of holding right here up at the resistance at about 52.20. But there's really not a trade to initiate here. It did break to the upside as we suspected, but it didn't. Again, there's not a lot to do here. Silver in consolidation, nothing really to do here. Platinum, again, you're seeing a very constant similar pattern. Copper is one to watch if you trade copper. If it holds the $6 level, and then it looks like it'll probably go higher. Grain markets, not much going on. Let's just go back here and make sure I'm not missing anything that we can trade right now. And no, there's nothing that we can trade right now. So we'll, again. And Corn stuck solidly in consolidation, nothing to do. Soybeans look to be a buyer about 1140. Cattle markets are just really in consolidation, nothing really to do here. Nat gas, we're long. I'm long from 310, not very good at the moment. Certainly, I would be looking. I'd like to see it come down to about 250 to add to that position. But you can see, whenever you see this kind of pattern, you're going to get this. It happens all the time. Go back and look at it. You'll see it over and over again. You get that straight up. That's the same pattern you saw in silver. Straight up and then come straight down. Very, very common when you're looking at these. And of course, crude is breaking and trying to break out. I am short crude from 66. So not in great shape. I was a lot happier this morning when it was 63.50. But we'll watch and see what goes on here. And if you have questions, as always, ask your questions. There's no shame in asking. You never know. I might have the right answer for you. But one thing we learned for sure is not to force the trades, and certainly want to stay away from news events unless you know how to put on a position that can benefit from either side. But overall, right now we're just looking at a slow grind. Obviously, the VIX has popped pretty good. I think the VIX goes back to 1850. Probably want to buy some volatility. So we'll see. But again, overall, all we've done today so far is sell the Zoom put spread for next week. And again, we're going to watch and see. We'll hang out. And like I said, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. That's what I'm here for. But right now, we need a pretty big move. And unfortunately, we're trading at about 45% of normal volume, which does not make for excitement, nor does it make for big moves. And I think that's something to always remember. And now you're getting a little bit of a rally again. So we'll see. But certainly we need about 150-point rally in the NASDAQ to get a sale. You need about a 50-point rally in the S&P. So the probability of those happening while we're here are not very likely, not very high. But again, we're ready to go if it should show up. But we're only waiting, and those Bollinger Bands that we're using, those are 3 standard deviations from the mean. And if they don't get there, we're not trading. It really becomes that simple. Okay. There's no reason to force any action. There's no reason to do anything if there's nothing to do. And that's, I think, is something that all of us can learn valuable lessons from. And that's why, obviously I always open up for questions if you have them, because we can discuss, the whole model and how it works and what we're looking for and why we're looking for it. And of course, this blow off pattern that we're watching here works on, any time frame. The only difference between the time frames is the amount of risk that you have to take. The longer the time frame, bigger the profit, bigger the risk. But on the short time frame, you do have the opportunity for big profits, but you always know your risk. So again, it's something to be aware of. But again, right now, there really is not much for us to do unless you were looking for a specific level. I mean, certainly if you said that you wanted to sell the S&P at 68.15, I could look at that, but I'm not rushing to do anything. Again, I'm not in a hurry. And I think that's one thing you got to learn is you got to learn patience to wait for what you're looking for. There is no reason to make exceptions, because at the end of the day, you'll find yourself chasing your tail versus actually making money. And I think that's important to understand. That you set a game plan, you're ready to trade, you know what you want to trade, you know what you're looking for. And if those events don't occur, then you don't trade. Okay. And I think if you learn that, you'll be a lot happier over time. Because at the end of the day, here we are. We're kind of just languishing in the middle. We've gone from a wild sell-off to a market that is churning, has rallied back. I mean, the S&P has rallied back 40 points and now has been going sideways. The NASDAQ has rallied back about 150 and going sideways. The Dow has rallied back 300 and going sideways now. So again, that's something that is important to understand. Crude, I wish I was still able to be short crude here. It looks like it wants to turn over, but again, nothing I can do about it. I have to sit and wait. And unfortunately, this is the hardest lesson to learn, is to say, okay, I'm going to be patient. And unless I get what I want, I'm not going to trade it. And it doesn't matter what time frame. Here's a 1 minute time frame of the same view. Okay, and I think that you just have to be patient enough. You know, this trade assist model is really good because it does tell you when you are extended in either direction. So I think that's important to do, to understand and look. And of course, you can see that by the bands as well. But I see, nothing major that says that, hey, I want to get involved here. I think that's always something to be aware of and be prepared for. And again, unfortunately, we're not getting much to look at right here. But if we do, we'll trade it, as we have before. We've done very well on the call here. But when there's nothing to do, we don't trade. We just sit and talk, and hopefully you have questions so that gives me something to talk about. But if not, then we're good too. And so it's all good. Again, I don't mind explaining. But certainly if you want to get more involved and more understanding of this, you can. I do this live every morning. Tomorrow we're doing a double header, 8:15 Eastern to trade the PPI number, and then leaving at about 8:40 and coming back at 9:25 to trade the open. So we trade 6 or 7 times a week in the morning, right around the opening or around news. So that's always something that we are looking for. But right now, again, I don't think we're going to get anything. I think we're going to have our one trade, and that's going to be the end. So let's just see if we get something big here, which I don't think that we will. I think we're just kind of in this little bit of a range right now. All the action is gone. You can see the volume drying up. So there you have it. Again, not a lot to do. Anybody who wants to try the Pulse of the Pit, which is a daily update in writing and in video, you can email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. I'll be happy to send it to you. And remember, I do the market 120 every morning, so that you can check out, again, my thoughts of the opening and what's going on at the time I shoot it, which is usually around 8 a.m. Eastern time. But right now, unfortunately, very little action for us. So we just have to be patient enough to wait and see if something shows. But again, I would doubt that now, based on the timing we have left, that it would take a miracle for us to get some kind of trade other than the Zoom trade we already put on. But watch those levels I gave you earlier on other things that if you do trade them, there's things to do if they appear. But right now, here I am, sitting here staring at and watching the overall paint dry. So, all right, sports fans, have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Tuesday. But again, every day I do the market 120. Have a great weekend. Be careful and don't force it. You're much better off being patient. Adios.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.